Welcome to The Rabbit Hole, Politics and Prose, a production of LibertyNation.com, hosted by Mark Angelides.
Across the media spectrum and in living rooms and bars throughout the world, folks speculate on politics. Sometimes it's light-hearted jocularity between friends. Often it's more visceral form of turf defence. But it's a practice we have, as a society, engaged in since civilizations first began. Who's going to win the election? What policies are the next government going to introduce? And as political understanding in the modern world becomes more widespread, and to some extent a replacement for other entertainments, we ask each other about the motivations of politicos and how they may vote on certain topics. Instinct, polls, devoted research into previous voting habits, all of these are indicators for figuring out which politician will support which bill or vote in what way. But there are as many theories and angles as there are people giving their verdicts. Wouldn't it be interesting and useful if there were a way to determine how an individual, a caucus, or even a party might vote? Well, actually, there is a way. Game theory is a branch of mathematics that provides analytical tools for determining how decisions are made and can often point to a neat solution that benefits the majority of game players. This fascinating way of thinking and analysing was made famous in the 2001 movie A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe as the troubled mathematician John Nash. Nash himself eventually won a Nobel Prize in economics for his game theory work. In fact, to date, 11 Nobel winners have been game theorists. The uses are many, from economics to jury selection to pricing new products and yes, to even understanding voting blocks, whether they're the public or the politicians themselves. But here's the thing, while it requires knowledge of advanced math and linear programming to publish works on game theory, it's something almost anyone can do at a basic level, and many of us are already doing it. Consider one of the biggest stories of the day, the Supreme Court nomination. With the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and just over a month left until the election, although in reality 4 months until Inauguration Day, speculation is rampant on whether President Trump should go ahead and try and get just one more justice on the court. At the most basic level, it seems straightforward that Trump should try and start the nomination process and that Democrats should oppose it. It appears that this provides a benefit to one party and a strike against the other, a win-lose scenario. But there are other ways to examine and analyze the problem. There's a thought experiment known as the prisoner's dilemma. It was first modeled at the Rand Corporation in 1950, but was fine-tuned and made popular by Canadian mathematician Albert Tucker. It follows a simple story with a number of options and begins with two suspects who have been arrested for an armed robbery. They both have guns on them at the time of their arrest, and they're put in separate cells, and the detectives are coming down hard on them, pushing each one to confess to the robbery. There are a few basic rules that need to be understood. So both prisoners, let's call them Adam and Bill, A and B, know the outcomes. If they both confess to the crime, they each get 5 years. If neither of them confesses, they just get 1 year each for possession of the firearm. If Adam confesses and gives evidence against Bill, Adam goes free and Bill gets 20 years in the slammer. And the same if Bill gives evidence against Adam. It's fairly straightforward. You have to decide which option gives you the best possible outcome. You don't know for sure if you can trust the other person to work in the best interests of you both, or for themselves alone. So do you confess, knowing that you'll get 5 years, but definitely avoiding 20 years, and also the chance of complete freedom? Or do you stay silent and get a possible 1 year, but with a risk of 20 years imprisonment? On the surface, it looks like Adam should confess because he doesn't know what Bill will do. Bill, of course, will be thinking the same thing. Paradoxically, though, both Adam and Bill would in reality be better off staying silent and only serving 1 year each. But with this strategy comes a serious risk. So how does this tie into the SCOTUS decision? Well, we know that if it comes to a vote, it will likely be down party lines, and with a majority in the Senate, Republicans will get the appointment through. So surely, Dems should oppose the idea of even starting the proceedings, right? Here's the rub. The prisoner's dilemma changes the more times you play. Each act of cooperation leads to more cooperation. Each act of selfishness, or in this case partisanship, leads to retaliatory selfishness. If Adam stays silent, but Bill confesses, Adam goes to jail for 20 years. How likely will Adam be to cooperate with Bill when he gets out? But if both men act in each other's best interests, they build a trust. And when the situation arises again, they'll be more confident that the other can be trusted to work in cooperative interest. This was a key element in the gnash equilibrium. Each player takes into account the other's optimal strategy when playing. In this instance, Adam would know that what is best for Bill is to only serve a year, and Bill knows the same. Therefore, they both win. Should Democrats and Republicans cooperate with each other's interest in mind, they will both be better off for it. How does this look in the real world? It likely comes down to a form of horse trading and goodwill. The benefit to Republicans is that they get their SCOTUS pick without major opposition. The Constitution is on their side here. Trump is the president and he has a majority in the Senate. There's almost nothing the Democrats can do to stop it going through. So why not aim for a more optimal outcome? Shouting, screaming, wailing and the gnashing of teeth is not a benefit to the Democrats. So what is? They have an opportunity for making deals on upcoming bills, on building goodwill, on showing themselves to the American people to be grown-ups and non-partisan. They would still all vote against the nominee, naturally. But with the present behavior, they're leaving no routes to gain any benefit at all. It's likely that you may have already considered this, and if so, congratulations, you're well on your way to becoming a game theorist. The final question we need to consider is whether our elected politicians have also thought this through. Or are they merely sheep, bleating in the wind for the sake of nothing?
Go deeper on the topic discussed in this video, head on over to one of these links here or go to our Liberty Nation Roku channel. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for Liberty.
The Rabbit Hole, Politics and Prose, a LibertyNation.com production.
Available at Libsyn, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, on Roku, and other fine podcast providers.